Since tonight we're celebrating the past, and we're trying to take those lessons and applying it to our lives and to the future, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start with a story in my past, and then I'll talk about the present and the future. My grandfather, when he was 12 years old, he got polio. Until then, he was an extremely mischievous and rambunctious child to the extreme. All little boys have a lot of energy, but he had an extra dose. After he recovered from the illness, he was crippled for life. In those days, a crippled was written out of society. They weren't looked at as having anything to contribute, and he was not allowed to return to school. His mother refused to accept that this was the status quo, that this was the new condition that her child was going to grow up under, and she pulled him tooth and nail out of depression for a child who could no longer run and jump and do everything that he had done his whole life. During the day, kids go to school. All his siblings went to school, and he was left at home. And he was left not just at home, but left feeling as if he had no longer had a purpose. So his mother, in his life, was instrumental in changing the path that he chose to lead. One of the things she did, first of all, was she homeschooled him and surpassed any education he could have gotten in any school. At the same time, she wrote to at the time, the governor of New York, who also had polio and was also crippled. And she wrote to him about her son. She explained the struggles he was going through, and she asked if he could take a few minutes out of his busy time as a politician to meet with her son and inspire him and show him that he has a life to lead. Not only a life to lead, but he could make a difference to other people. It wouldn't be just something for himself. This was Roosevelt that my grandfather met for a short time, but it had a huge impact in his life. He actually later worked for him when he was president. When he was 16, his results were so good that he was accepted into Columbia University, where he graduated as a lawyer. This is the story of my grandfather and of a powerful woman. His mother was not just going to accept things for how they were. She was somebody who set a home which was full of life and joy. My mother, I never met my great-grandmother, but my mother used to describe going to her grandmother's home as this wonderful place of love and happiness, the sort of home that we all try to create in our homes. So as Nechama mentioned, professionally, I might be very, very busy running organizations, working with people across Europe. I feel very honored to have the position that I do have. I'm very grateful that in my career I'm able to impact thousands of people on a personal level. I know that it's a special gift and it's something that I never take for granted. That being said, if you have to ask me what is my greatest accomplishment, I will not tell you about the organization. I will tell you about my children. If there's one thing, one area where we can't be replaced, in almost any professional area, most of us, as great as we are, as special as we are, most of us are replaceable. The one area you can never be replaced is when it comes to the lives of your children. The role that your mother plays in your life is something irreplaceable. No one else can take this spot, except I was actually just disproven. We have a special woman here who has two mothers. So you might be a little shocked by 6 kids, but actually to me, I think that's not enough. I'm hoping there's more still coming. The house is fun. It's always happening. There's chaos, but it's a good chaos. It's a fun and enjoyable place to be. Something that I find that I really enjoy seeing is how my kids, without me doing anything, just automatically, because there are 6 of them, automatically they take responsibility for one another. One falls down, it's natural for another sibling to come running over, even if it's the 4-year-old who falls and the 2-year-old who comes running over to make her feel better. It just becomes something natural. So automatically, there's this space where the children are growing up without being taught, without being shown, to automatically understand that in life, they have to take responsibility for other people. And that's just an automatic. I can't take credit for any of that. That being said, as a Jewish woman, the way that we raise our kids is we raise them to look at the world as if the entire world is balanced, good and evil. We tell them that their one good deed can tip the scale. What does that message mean? If they're brought up learning this message, understanding what that means to that child, is that you're telling them that not only should you choose to do the right thing, but that when you choose to do the right thing, you're not just affecting yourself, you have the potential to affect the world. So the kids are learning automatically when they grow up with this message that they should take responsibility not just for themselves, not just for their siblings, but for the world around them. Chanukah is a perfect time to celebrate this. First of all, tonight we're celebrating women, and of all the Jewish holidays, Chanukah specifically celebrates the woman who was instrumental in winning the war. But it's also the time when we light one small candle, one small flame in the darkness. In Judaism, we believe that a candle, a flame, represents the soul. What we are telling the world with Chanukah is we are explaining that this candle, this flame, your soul has the potential and the power to light up darkness. The 2, I think, most important things that children should learn is that they matter and that they should choose to do the right thing. And these are messages that are exactly what Chanukah stands for, and what we as Jewish women are teaching our children and spreading on this message continuously. Happy holidays.